In the last couple of days I had a lot to do, and not only printing some JDM Christmas or present stuff. No, I had some very important things like But back to topic, I'm working here on some different projects, or I started some different projects, and I want to show you 3 of them. The first thing is a 3D printed side vent add-on, so that you get more cold air into it, like the C1 covers for the ZZW30 or MR2 Spider. And this was my first 3D scan, because this has to be a bolt-on and really good fitting solution. And yeah, as you can see, I'm not really happy here. I have the 2 prototypes I already printed, and the first one is more like a complete cover of it, and this is not the sense. And the second is very short, and it has still not the shape I want. So I used Blender again, and I'm still finding out what's the best shape. If you're interested in this project, please write it in the comments. Or what do you think about that? Maybe you said, no, I need a short air intake, and this is not from interest. So this would be very interesting. And if not, or if you're interested in, keep following me, and I will show you the progress in the next weeks. Today I want to focus on this RAM air intake, and therefore I have some black Oracal wrap so that we can protect the inner side of, you can see it on this side, the inner side of the B pillar to not become scratched. And the most interesting part is when you have the RAM air intake, here is the airbox inside. So we have to change the airbox position if possible. And I think 3D print a pipe or something to go into the throttle body. But let's find out. So the normal way of the air is going into the air intake side vent, then go at the back through the trunk, comes out here, and then it goes into the, or maybe you can see that or not, and then it goes through this pipe, and I'm thinking about the air intake side vent comes out here at top of the fuse box. So comes from here and goes directly into this part of the bonnet or of the engine bay, comes out top of the fuse box, and then we need something like a pipe, the old air filter box, and then into the resonator box, not into the resonator box, just along or across or something like that. So maybe you know that from my other videos, but this is the thing we want to fit, or yeah, it needs a lot of work. But you can see where the air comes through, and we need a pipe or something to glue in, which fits, best case, really tight without lose any air. So now we have this awesome air duct, and now the problem is how we get this cold air, which comes out here, into that one. I think without it, it makes no sense, because then we have cold air from the top, but the heat should go out at the top, and the airflow should be from underneath the car through the engine bay to the top and straight out of these things, or from the side if necessary, but not from the top. So I think that would be a great cold air intake. But in Germany it's very strict, and therefore it would be great to have the OEM airbox and a painted part like that. What do you think? Is it too aggressive for a 1.6 liter engine? I think it looks very stealth fighter like. And I want to add this thing here, because one is missing. By the way, why this box is so important? Because thinking about, air goes the long way into the throttle body, and then the valves, the intake valves, open. The air can go straight into the cylinder, but then they close, and this makes an impact or something like a crash of the flow against the intake valve, and so there is an impulse or a wave that goes back, so it goes against the flow of the air. And this is the big problem, because when you don't have a resonator box, then these waves decrease your power or performance. So one thing could be to improve these fog light covers to air curtains which flows directly into the wheel arch, or if you know it, you have the air intake here like a cold air intake, but you can build a ram air intake. So that the first one could improve aero, and the second one could improve power. So what do you mean? Write it in the comments. Would be interesting. Instead of my one. I think the air curtain fog intakes are more interesting, because you will find a lot of new cars which look the same because of air curtain technology. So it's more efficient, it's better for aerodynamic, and you get less turbulent airstream at the wheels. So I think making two parts, one at the bumper and the second one is the connector between the front one and the wheel arch or the wheel cover. And I think this is very interesting, not so complicated, but of course I needed to 3D scan this part I found at the junkyard. My first try is this one. I will print it just to test if the angles are right, if the holes are on the right position, and then we can do something like a tube out of it. So this is project number 3, and of course 3D printing as well. So it would be very interesting. There are a lot of new projects, and I still have some other in my head, like continuous carbon fiber hard top bracket for the MX-5 or Miata. I have the part already. Yeah, and just some other stuff, so stay tuned. Enjoy the end of the year.